Hello everyone and welcome back to Corey Loses, where today we are finishing our Thrawn's Revenge Imperial Civil War 2.2 preview playthrough as the Pentastar alignment. So as you can probably tell from the way the map is laid out here, there was a bit of an issue between the last episode and this episode. So what I'd intended to do was I sat down to record the last bit of the playthrough. I figured it'd be probably 2 45-minute to an hour long episodes, and then that'd be it. So I recorded the whole thing. It was about 2 hours like I expected, and went to edit it, and turned out OBS had corrupted the entire thing when encoding it. So, it had corrupted it like halfway through the first episode too. So I couldn't save any of it. So ultimately what I decided to do, rather than redo the entire thing, because it took 2 hours, I figured, because most of the territory over here was mostly empty except for like Psycha, it was just clean up stuff, attacking the structures and that kind of thing, that I could just auto-resolve my way through that, and then start with the core worlds, which were a bit more heavily defended. So, started doing that, and as you can see, that it is now week 450, when I think it was 350 at the end of last episode, because the extra time I spent on the galactic map having to rebuild the forces that were lost in auto-resolving, especially on the ground, meant that the Empire of the Hand and the Core, and even the Empire, took over most of these planets in this area. So I had to go through those as well, which was not fun. It was pretty frustrating. It was honestly probably just as quick, if not quicker, instead of auto-resolving all that, to go back through here. So I am sorry for that you didn't get to see this bit of the campaign. But again, these plants were mostly empty. That's why I went back through and just auto-resolved them instead. There weren't that many ground units at all, and the space units were mostly concentrated over here. Most of their pop cap is concentrated over here because they only have a few planets left. So we will still go through these planets here. We'll do those battles. And then what I did learn is that when I was trying to change the script so that the air change bug wouldn't be as big of a deal, so we could try to get the units to spawn for the Remnant instead of for us, it didn't work, and it made it crash here. I don't know if it's just because there was no other planets for stuff to go to anyways, but so we can get there, we kill Thrawn, and then that'll be it. So we'll just make our way through these Empire of the Hand planets first. So we'll grab this fleet here. I was trying to give each of the patron ships a last chance to do stuff as well, but unfortunately we probably don't have enough battles left for that. And the other thing that happened was the bug where if you have too many units, it fills up the bar over here and then like overflows onto the UI. It did that, but then it also it stayed there, and I couldn't even initiate the battles because of how many units were there. So there was just Kane's face everywhere. It's kind of creepy, but anyways, so I really am sorry about that. We are going to be starting the Thrawn campaign playthrough on Friday, so hopefully no one's too upset with me that we can't show the whole thing like that. But I figured that me just trying to like force my way through that, it probably wouldn't be super entertaining for anyone listening to me be just completely uninterested in what was going on, because it was like, okay, I already did this to destroy this building, whatever, just frustrated, I guess, because that was annoying. I was hoping to like get all that done, get all the recording done while it was encoding and uploading, get some more mod work done, get ready for the thing on Friday, and everything's good. So now, I don't know, hopefully I'll be able to still get most of the stuff I wanted to done. But anyways, let's keep doing what we're doing. Get Devastator in here, just to show you good. And a lot of what they do have left here are just Persis squads that they've built. So try to get some of those guys. I'm gonna make sure that they don't retreat if we can. Party starter. Yeah.
Location confirmed. Falling out of formation. Advancing. Confirmed.
We'll just sort of sweep our way through here with the raiders.
Roger that.
Attack formation. Go after the
Awaiting your command. Enemies in
But anyways, I'm going to try to think of some of the more important points I hit on, well, I think the last episode, but, or not the last episode, but do it the first time through here. And I was talking a bit about some of the changes made to 2.2 as far as how easy it makes it going forward for some of the changes we want to do. There's a lot of the stuff that was implemented with 2.2 that was, like the newer stuff, that was done without knowledge of just how in-depth we would start to go with some of it. So with some of the ability scripts and some of the infrastructure for the mod, Hawks does want to go back through with 2.3 and make it a bit more consistent. We were talking about that during the live stream last night. But in terms of what's there for... so for anyone who doesn't know, on the Twitch channel, there's a link in the description. Every Monday we do, or I do... like I work on the mod live, I answer questions on, I live stream some of the mod work, basically, to repeat what I said twice already. And we were talking a bit about some of the streamlining that went into 2.2, and actually this might have been after the stream that me and Fox were talking about this, because I think Dr. Knickers was there at that point. So anyways, so I was saying how there was a lot of the streamlining that we did that made like having all the story scripts be built off of a few central scripts and then called by each GC, instead of having it like where every GC has its own sectioned off story script that we then have to, if we want to change something with like error locks or something, have to go and edit like 17 files, which is much less fun. Then if you just have it all controlled in one central place, you can edit that way. And now how we have all the unit variants cut down to just like the main code for the unit, and then
moving out.
I want to overlap the units like that.
Fallout.
Okay, good. But
IPV reporting.
hopefully the Coruscant fleet doesn't come first there. Well, let's just use these guys. But yeah, so the units, instead of all being like 17 variants of something for the different warlord factions, they're all, you have like the one acclamator code or acclamator code, and then any faction that wants that references that one, and then we have some other scripts to help take care of the other things like the different fighter spawns between factions. That's all handled in the Lewis script, and it's all under one entry rather than being in like 17 different places. So if we want to edit ship stats, that's a lot faster. It just makes it easier to do anything from balancing to adding new galactic conquest scenarios, especially in the case of that with the GC editor tool, which even though it is in a very rudimentary stage, it's still very useful. So that's all stuff that's going to be a huge benefit. All work on 2.2. That's going to be a huge benefit, not just to the content you'll be seeing in 2.2, but making it a lot easier to have quicker releases of even more content in the future, just because it is so much easier to go through and edit it in that way. Which it's a huge benefit to the mod, being able to do that. It allows us to focus on the actual improvement of the content. So like if there's work we need to do to improve or rework something, then the work, most of the actual work in that can go into the actual improvement of it, rather than the tedious bits of doing it in like 17 different places like that. So that's something that's really, really good that's come out of 2.2, aside from all the direct upgrades to the content. And it has in some cases come at the expense of my being able to work on some art stuff for 2.2. So I'm pretty out of practice as far as some of the 3D art that I want to do later on. But that's going to be a bigger focus for me in 2.3, me personally. Like, there were still other people in the obviously that were working on art stuff the whole time. But just for me, it was a difference. Because I really enjoy working on the 3D art stuff. And it's been pretty much a year where I wasn't doing any of that at all. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to being able to work on again with 2.3. And that's going to be one of my bigger focuses personally. is I want to finish reworking the Empire of the, or start and finish reworking the Empire of the Hand Ground units. We're going to be working on adding all the Hapen stuff, but also because we're not working on redoing all the Galactic Conquest again. Was that Justiciar or something? No, Justiciar was in the other fleet. Let's get Showdown in here. But anyways, yeah, because all the GCs were reworked for 2.2, there's maybe one or two that will want to rework a bit more for 2.3. Like I think the Kamas Crisis and Thrawn campaign GCs, which are ironically the ones based on the more central content to the mod, being the Thrawn trilogy and Hand of Thrawn duology. But those we want to do a bit more work on to rework. But then the rest of it for 2.3 would just be like adding the story events, where we can entirely focus on that, adding the stuff that will add a lot more depth to the mod, and to a lot of players would feel like a lot of the new content, because as much of the extra work went into working on the reworking the GCs, making them more consistent, adding a bit more depth to them, making them a bit more balanced, adding the new factions to them. For a lot of people, that kind of thing, because they're still named the same thing, because they are still like at their core the same GC, a lot of the work is under the surface. It's a bit harder for them to classify that as like new content, which is understandable because it, in that sense, it really isn't new content. But that means that in future versions we are able to work more on the new content. It's not just rebuilding the mod from the ground up in the same way that we did for 2.2. So there's a few candidates we have for potential GCs, and a lot of that does depend on, or a good bit of that does depend on what factions are focused on for the next build. So we've already announced that the Hapens are going to be playing a much larger role in the mod, both in Ascendancy and in ICW, or being available and present in a lot more places at least. And so we'll probably have a rework in the clusters for that one. They're going to be added to the multi-era GCs as well, obviously. And then there's one or two other factions that we're considering for playability, if nothing else, on the next build. So we'll see how far we get with any of that. Obviously, we'd have more news about that when we're actually working on it, but it's all stuff that we're going to be able to focus a lot more on and put a lot more depth into because of the extra streamlining in the mod. So that's something that should be very helpful going forward, and it's also stuff that it benefits the other projects we work on. So when we're working on Fall of the Republic, we already have this pretty solid basis to build the mod on. And we can build from there, and it's more about, when going between ICW and content, it's not about rebuilding the mechanics from the ground up between the mods or for Fall of the Republic. It's just going to be about trying to work out the balance and just the content. So it just makes it a lot easier and a lot more simplified to do the stuff that we need to do for the mods to work properly, and for us to be able to add, really, for the important thing to be adding the content and improving the content rather than necessarily being like the tedious aspects of it, like I said. So that's helpful. And what else did I talk about?
Destination confirmed.
We've also been trying to be a lot better about, or me more than anything, because this stuff is my responsibility, in documentation, in organizing how we test things, just other things that'll help streamline the process even more and make it more of a painless transition between releases. So that's all been very important for us in developing 2.2. I have a much bigger whiteboard now than I ever had when working on any other previous releases, so that's always a good sign. Yeah. So like there's still, as much as we've done on 2.2, there's still a lot of rough edges in a lot of places that we that we really feel like we can and want to improve on. So like a lot of the Empire of the Hand ground art is terrible. or all the Emperor of the Hand ground art is terrible. A good portion of their space stuff still needs to be redone. Like there's some stuff like the Ascendancy Star Destroyer that we're happy with the basic design, but we're less happy with the actual execution on that, just because it's way too low poly. Like, optimization is always a priority for us. It's always going to be something we aim for, to have the stuff, to have the mod run well. So we're always trying to keep poly counts as low as we can. But the Ascendancy Star Destroyer model, it's super old. It's and it's probably much lower poly than it needs to be. I think it might even be under 2,000 polys, which is like we can afford 4 times that, 5 times that pretty safely for a capital ship. So stuff like that is gonna be good. Like there's plenty of stuff in 2.2 too that was redone, or as well, that's been redone, but and it looks better, but it's also lower poly than it was before. So there's some things that are a bit more performant or resource intensive than they were in 2.1. Like some of the scripts will obviously require a stronger processor than you would have needed to accomplish the same stuff in 2.5, just because there really wasn't that much extra scripted stuff. But in terms of art and general frame rate performance, there were some edge cases in 2.15, especially to do with fighters, where they were nowhere near as optimized as they could have been or should have been. And now that should be less of an issue. So people should generally experience a higher frame rate when playing the mod, as far as that stuff goes.
Opening fire
So,
on the torpedo launchers.
right, what do we lose there? So we lost No Hope, we lost Achilles' Hammer, Ardent Flame, Blessed Knee, Rebel's End, Relena, Showdown, and Hood. And Thunderchild. No Hope was already up here. I don't know why it's trying to get double billing here. But that's probably the last time they're going to show up. So let's thank them all for their dedicated service to the Pentastar alignment. The other thing that I did in the original playthrough, or the original winning thing, was I got all the heroes killed how we were hoping to. I don't think I'll be able to lose Cisco and Kane. I might be able to get rid of Jarek. Hold on.
Enemy fleet approaching.
Right away.
What? Who? Made Kuat.
Tactical battle imminent.
All right. Well, let's do that.
Battle imminent. System lost.
It's happening again. Let's do this. We'll send them back. I'm gonna send this fleet back to Kuat. Stop Thrawn from getting out.
Invasion commencing.
All right.
Choose your reinforcements.
Heading out.
I can probably get Jarek killed. That's one of my main goals
Canceled.
here.
Enemy base shields up. Sensor node constructing. Construction complete.
Blast them.
Jarek can go over there. I want to keep Jarek alive for at least the beginning of this battle.
Lancet standing
Because
by.
he'll be helpful for taking out
Engines
some of the
activated. Receiving orders.
turbo laser structures. Ooh, let's see if we can get that flame tank. We can still keep doing what it's doing. But
ready. Entering battlefield.
Fire support ready.
and
Choose your
I
reinforcements.
was talking about stuff where we feel like the mod still has a lot of rough edges, and I think the biggest example of that in the mod is anything sound related, where there's very few sound effects and very few VO that we've added. And now that we have Waylawful on the team to focus on that stuff, it'll be a lot easier for us to start getting some headway on that. But that'll hopefully be something that we can do a bit more. I don't know how much we'll be able to get in for 2.2 because
Fire support ready.
it's really just started to work on that. But for 2.3, it'll definitely be a bigger focus, and like I don't think we'll ever be at a point where we're 100% like everything is 100%
Base is under attack.
voiced of the new stuff that we add, but
Reporting.
hopefully we'll be able to get to a position
Yes,
where
Commander.
it's at least a lot more common for stuff to have it
Reinforcements
than not. Especially stuff where like everyone thinks they're
Bombing run
Thrawn or something like
available.
that will be a non-issue. That's something that we could potentially still get done for 2.2. But there's a lot of stuff where it's like if we were just releasing the mod for the first time, where we'd probably be more inclined to
Aerial artillery reporting.
hold off on release until it was like 100% done in different
Brigade
areas and
standing
then
by.
focus the content differently. But because the mod has been out for so long and there's already been several versions available, then we have to be a bit more incremental about how we do stuff, because ultimately it's not a decision between like releasing something where we're not 100% done with it and releasing nothing at all. It's just, it's like anything we do is really going to be an improvement on what already exists, and it's just a question of like what amount of improvement do we want for any given release.
Armor ready. Rolling out.
And 2.2 ended up being a much bigger change than any release we've done before, arguably even
Ready.
between
Destination set.
Base Empire at War and 1.0. But part of that, if we were like starting from the second we released 2.15 to get into 2.2, it probably would have been, or it was at that point, a very different plan. But it was also because
Heading out.
we took that
Reinforcements
year
canceled.
and a half-ish off of ICW to focus on Ascendancy, and because we had other stuff going on in our
Enemy
lives
base
that
shield is
kind of
offline.
interrupted or reduced the amount of modding we'd be able to do.
Reporting.
Let's
Initiate attack
see if we can
run.
get Jarek killed here. But
Commence attack run.
yeah, so when we got back to working on it, there was we had a lot more obvious stuff that we were like, okay, we can fix this, we can change this, we can change
AT-AT
that,
ready.
and
At
it
the
ended
ready.
up being
Command received.
a much bigger project than we'd initially intended. Okay, is this it? Jarek, are you done? Hey. Okay, there's number one.
The big targets are ours.
I'm gonna probably auto-resolve the Corin out of
Ready to receive
Hello,
orders.
sir.
Destroyed.
Well, like, I talked about it a bit in previous videos, but we were, with 2.2, we were initially not going to do all the Warlord stuff. We were going to do, like, pre-Endor, and I'm really glad we went the direction we did on, like, fleshing out the mod more rather than expanding the content, or expanding the timeline,
Just give me a target.
because I feel like it adds a lot more to the polish level of the mod rather than making a lot more, I guess, half-baked stuff.
Roger that. Attacking.
So I really do think that was the right choice for us to have made.
Proceeding to target.
But yeah, so the amount that we
Fire
actually
my
redid in
way,
this
Cap.
build
Rolling
was probably significantly more than we would have in
Walker
any other
moving
build.
out.
But I guess that also does come with the
Commencing attack.
expectation or the perception that like everything is going to be where we would have wanted it, which isn't necessarily the case. There's a lot with ground, there's a lot with sound, just anything that ends with "ound."
System
There's still
control
a lot of
achieved.
space stuff that we'd like to do.
Beginning construction.
A lot of changes to mechanics on the
Cancel.
galactic level. Let's get you back
Moving
here.
out.
You back here.
Building under construction.
And we can send you guys back to
Heading to
Kuwait as
destination.
well. Orleas, is this yeah, we've been on this map quite a bit.
Invasion commencing.
Unit
System
destroyed.
control achieved. Tactical battle imminent.
They wouldn't have time to
Heading out.
establish much there,
Heading
so I'll
out.
just do that.
Beginning construction.
Alright.
System lost.
chic. Okay.
Invasion commencing. Unit destroyed. System conquered.
Alright, so let's do this one
Construction
next.
complete.
What do they have here? 57
Construction complete.
squadrons. Probably should have sent Kane and Cisco in there, but I'll use them for Thrawn. They're gonna make it. Gregor won't. But yeah, so we're likely, or I'm likely just gonna take.
Full speed.
I can't speak for the rest of them for the rest of the team on this, but I'm probably just gonna take a couple days break, deal with whatever feedback comes in after 2.2 gets released, and then you'll start hearing pretty quickly about what we want to do with 2.3. So
Confirmed.
let's
Right away. Moving out.
get these guys in here.
Heading out. Fall out. Let's move out. Let's go. Location confirmed.
Because we're going to be working on Ascendancy as
Advancing.
well, but
Reporting. Confirmed.
there's some stuff
away.
like some fighter models that I
Moving
want to
out.
make that'll be
Heading
applicable
out.
to both. There'll be okay.
Choose your
Some stuff in that to do with
reinforcements.
that. Let's get
We're
Devastator
moving
in
out.
on this
Move
Justiciar and Outland. Let's start digging with those guys.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, it won't take long before
Attack
you're
that
starting to
target.
hear pretty specific plans about
Attacking
2.2
target.
or 2.3. I've got, even on my whiteboard right now, I
Fire
have
at will.
a significant amount written down
Engaging.
for stuff that we thought of during 2.2 that it was like unlikely that we'd be able to work it in, or it just didn't seem worth delaying the entire release for when we were doing the prioritizing of stuff.
Choose your
Can I fit
reinforcements.
in another? Do I have another Praetor here? Yes, I do, but I can't fit it in. Let's get Eternal Judgment in on this. And the second.
Reinforcements en route.
Your command, sir.
Those torpedo launchers must be destroyed. Attacking.
Shred some fighters.
Enemies in range. Enemies in range. Closing on target. Initiating attack.
Enemy ships. Go after them.
Commander.
Coming back around for another run.
Sir,
I think the biggest thing people are usually interested in is which factions are going to be present in anything. So,
Attacking target.
we'll talk about that at some point, I'm sure. Internally, we still have to decide exactly what we're doing as far as that goes, too. But we are,
Choose your reinforcements.
thankfully, closing in on the hard-coded limit for that in Empire at War. So,
awaiting command.
there'll only be so long that we can actually add factions before we'd have to add them in a different mod.
Copied. Fire at will.
Awaiting your command.
Alright.
Move to attack.
Actually,
Attack.
most of the fighters are gone.
Fire.
Get Raspberries over here. Well, the auto's probably gonna take a bunch of shots at us here. Nope, it made it in without dying immediately.
I
That's
copy.
good.
Enemies in
Opening fire on the torpedo launchers.
Cannons armed. Right away. Target locked. Ready for orders. Cruiser here. Open fire. Attack that target. Attacking target. Fire at will. Falling out of formation. Engaging.
Draw their fire.
Targeting.
Attack
Firing.
formation.
Get behind them. Attacking.
Go after the stragglers.
Alright.
Frequency open.
For another attack.
Enemies in range.
That's what,
Moving out.
5 squadrons left? Oh, 7?
Enemies in range.
Those torpedo launchers must be destroyed.
I'm losing.
Choose your reinforcements. Moving to sector. At maximum unit capacity.
Who are you to? We have First Strike and Silver Shadow.
Roger that. Heading out.
What are your orders?
Reporting. Star Destroyer standing by. Star Destroyer reporting in.
These stations actually did quite a bit of work on us.
Choose your reinforcements.
Stormcast.
At maximum unit capacity. Taking fire.
Our target priority is the laser cannons. Yes, Commander.
Commander, they're hitting us.
Awaiting orders.
Form up.
Alright.
Where'd he
I
go?
need to actually attack that.
Awaiting your orders. Attacking.
Nowhere to run.
Come about. Charge laser cannons. Attacking.
Right. Let's just go straight for the station.
Falling out of formation. Choose your reinforcements.
Right, that's it for the Empire of the Hand. And that's probably it for all the previews of the Empire of the Hand as well, except for maybe some skirmish matches we'll do. That would be fun. We did some, like a few one-off skirmish videos or something for balance testing. We get some of the team and testers in on that. And then probably do some during the testing phase as well. Like the open testing phase.
Complete.
Odic, what is your map? Yeah, that's the base Dathomir. So
Invasion commencing.
Battalion standing by.
Choose your reinforcements.
Order acknowledged.
Moving out.
Setting course.
At
Heading out.
maximum unit capacity.
Form up. Right away. Moving to position. Moving out.
Providing covering
Heading
fire.
out.
Laying suppressive fire.
Unit destroyed.
Firing. Destination ahead.
Providing cover fire.
Let's move out.
Roll out.
Engaging.
The big
I have the target in sight. Planted. Targeting.
Unit destroyed.
Providing covering fire.
Reporting. Moving out. Unit
we'll probably need to
destroyed.
grab
More
more
ready.
stuff.
Unit
Roll out.
destroyed. Awaiting orders. We've secured a landing zone.
Time order. Copy. Destination set.
Order acknowledged. Heading out. Order acknowledged. Heading out.
Unit destroyed.
Reporting in. Roger
Never
that.
gets old.
Weapons armed. As you wish, General.
Alright, so yeah, just I guess another few notes on what's coming up
Right
too.
away. Moving.
So we've got the Thrawn campaign that's
Awaiting
coming
your
up
orders.
Awaiting orders.
starting
Let's go.
on
Keep
Friday.
going.
But after that, we are doing Empire's End, which is the Air Progressive GC that doesn't
This
have
way.
the Empire of the
Over
Hand. So
there.
it's about 100 planets. It'll be a fairly long playthrough, much like
Engines
this one.
activated.
Maybe
Receiving
not
orders.
quite as long, but
As you wish.
okay, you're gonna
Squadron
die.
moving out.
But
Lenses proceeding.
yeah, so
Copy.
that
Moving
will
out. Let's roll.
that will probably
Copy.
go until
Command
after 2.2 is released. So it'll be a pretty
Brigade ready.
lengthy
Charge.
one, but it'll have it'll be a lot more feature
Moving to
complete
position.
and polished than
Walker moving to attack.
than this one,
Laying suppressive fire.
and it'll have a much better indicator.
Providing cover fire.
It'll serve as a much better demonstration of the air change mechanics, obviously, because we
Heading
only
up.
did the one air change.
Attack.
Because only the one air change was done when we started this playthrough.
Open fire.
But
I've got them on
so there will be a lot more in that. It'll look a lot more like it won't be 100% finished because we're still going to be in testing for most of it. But it'll look a lot more like
Heading for attack position.
the version you guys will be
Yes,
playing
sir.
by that
All out
point
troops.
yourselves.
Let's move out. Let's go.
Deploying.
Attacking target.
Choose your reinforcements.
And this is our last ground battle,
Setting
so
course.
I'm not being in any way careful with our units.
Capacity.
For anyone who's concerned about that.
Scanning target.
Reporting. Right away.
If you know, if you guys actually got in there, it would be a
On my
lot
way.
more helpful for
Heading out. Moving out. Attack. Scanning target. Fire. Moving to fire.
Ready. Deploying.
On my way. Yes, Commander. Keep going.
Scanning for enemies.
Unit
you.
destroyed.
Alright. Uh-oh.
New coordinates.
Unit
Activating.
destroyed. Unit destroyed.
Coordinates. Scanning for enemies. Initiate sweep. I've got them on scopes.
Affirmative, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right away.
The enemy base shield
Report.
is
There we go.
offline.
Alright,
Roger
everyone go
that.
in.
Setting course.
Scanning area.
Unit destroyed.
Bombers at the ready. Commencing bombing
Ready.
run.
Fire at will.
Form up. Commence attack
Still an
run.
impact particle
There
there.
they are.
Engaging enemy.
They are in my sights.
Fire.
Changing course.
On the
In
move.
attack position.
AT-AT ready.
Awaiting orders.
Unit destroyed.
Engaging enemy.
There they are.
Bombardment available.
Ready to go. Fire.
They are in my sights.
Okay.
Scouting. Scouting
In
area.
attack position.
Targeting.
We are
Alright,
victorious.
there we go. Empire of the Hand is done.
System conquered. Building started.
Let's move out.
Construction complete. Tactical battle imminent.
Let's
Construction complete. Invasion commencing.
Unit destroyed.
System control achieved.
Alright, Gregor is being
Keep going.
insistent on staying alive. I don't want to send Cisco or Kane to auto-resolve their death, because they have pretty strong auto-resolve
Tactical
values.
battle imminent.
Here we go. You're done. Yeah, I don't think they have enough strength in either of these fleets to take out even Kane or Cisco. So, this battle, like I said, will unfortunately end in a crash.
Tactical battle imminent.
But I think for you guys, it'll stay on the "We Are Victorious" screen, so it'll be worth it. You guys will still get to see our victory, and we'll take
Enemy
that as the
unit
victory
sighted.
screen for the GC. But you know,
Superstar Destroyer ready.
Choose your reinforcements.
Switch position. Regroup. Gun them down.
I'm not sure why those two, like why the SSDs have a squadron of fighters that spawn up there. It happens with one of the NR ships as well, one of the Blade Era NR ships, the Endurance or the
All batteries commence firing. At one. Fire at will.
called
Choose your
Nebula?
reinforcements.
what it's called. Thrawn.
Choose your reinforcements.
Let's get Siegfried in. I think Venerable was just on here. Spartan's Pride. Get on the other side there.
Reinforcements canceled.
This can Fiery Vindication. Lost Kings.
Capacity.
I've got him.
Intercepting. Unable to shake them.
Superstar.
Attack. Engaging the enemy. I'm on this one.
Let's focus on Thrawn.
I'm losing.
Get their combat bonus out of there.
Under control. I have them now.
Sir,
Taking fire.
engines
Being
activated.
targeted.
We've lost the launch man.
Squad, move in.
Our shields are down.
They've destroyed our lasers.
I'm on them. Watch him. He's coming around.
Got him.
I've been hit. Go after the
Choose your reinforcements.
for another. My scopes are jammed.
The launch bay is gone.
Enough knights.
Target.
We've lost the shield generator.
I'm trying to give as many of these guys a shot on screen as we can.
Taking fire.
Nemrith Knights. Let's get Dragonheart. Loki's Throne. Assailant.
Location confirmed.
Where'd he go?
And Tomcat.
Maximum unit capacity.
Nowhere to run.
There goes Thrawn.
We've lost the launch bay.
Returning to your position. I'm losing. Falling out of formation. I got it. Draw their fire. Attack formation.
The lasers are our target.
Ready to
Primary
receive
drive
orders.
system down. Awaiting command. They've destroyed our lasers.
I won't be around much longer.
Our target priority is the
Choose your
laser.
reinforcements.
Target critical.
Hammer time?
Located.
Or Traitor time, more like.
I got him. Taking fire.
Was that just in the side episode, or did that show up?
They're hitting us.
Was that in one of the main episodes? Because there was a side episode where we came to Hakasi and had the initial air change bug.
Closing
But
on target. He's about to be
I
destroyed.
can't remember if that was the episode where
Enemy forces. Coming back around for another run.
where Hammer Time betrayed us.
Awaiting orders.
Choose your reinforcements.
Attack position. Direct
Oh well.
fire with their laser
Nowhere
cannons.
to run.
At once. Yes, ma'am.
I got one. Taking him out.
Locking on.
All batteries commence firing.
Engaging the enemy.
All ahead.
Really wish I
I'm on
knew
this one.
exactly why that happens.
At once.
Floating
Under
around.
control. Falling out of formation. Watch him. He's coming around.
Commencing attack.
Superstar losing.
He's headed your direction. Enemies in range. Shields almost gone.
I got
Returning to your position.
I've got him. Intercepting. Receiving
position.
orders.
Alright, Siegfried, looks like
The
I'm
lasers are
not
our
gonna
target.
make
I
it.
copy. Maneuvering.
I'm not gonna
All
make
sections at your command.
Cover me now.
Engaging the enemy.
Go after the stragglers.
it. Right, Golan's down.
Regroup for another
Choose your reinforcements.
Just that last Golan and this little group of ships. But once Siegfried's down, we can bring in Venerable to clean it up.
Click. Eliminating target.
So Venerable, in you go. Regular Precursor, well.
Superstar destroyer.
Cisco, if you want to sort of lean over there, get as close as you can. I know it's not going to be all the way in there.
Our target priority is the laser cannons. The lasers are our target.
Getting a lock. Closing on target.
Take out the iron cannons.
Regroup.
Sir,
I'm hit.
I've got
We're
him.
being targeted. Squad, move in. I have them pursuing
now.
enemy forces. Taking them out. Engaging the enemy. My scopes are jammed.
Commander, they're
I'm
hitting
on
us.
this one.
Where'd he go?
Where are the others? Shields almost gone. Cover me now.
I got
Watch for enemy ships.
nowhere to run.
Go after them. Regroup. I'm hit. We're being targeted.
Our primary target is those iron
Alright,
cannons.
that's pretty much every Imperial ship.
Superstar destroyer ready.
Choose your reinforcements.
Advancing.
The enemy has been defeated.
Alright, there we go. So, that's gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this preview for 2.2. Keep in mind, of course, that everything you are seeing is still in progress, which is why we do have some of these bugs like this. I am sorry for what happened with this episode. I hope that the, I guess, compromise that I came up with to try to get back through it. Wasn't too bad for anyone. For anyone who joined the channel during this, that I think the channel grew by like 25% during just this playthrough. We've been going at this for like 3 or 4 months now. So anyone who's stuck all the way through it, thank you so much. I really do hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you're looking forward to the next playthroughs we're going to be doing. For anyone who's been around even longer than that, I hope you continue to enjoy the content as well. And especially thank you to the patrons and those of you who have your ship names put into this. If anyone would like to join the ship name rosters, there is a link in the description to the Patreon page where you can join the fleet there. But like I've said repeatedly, we are doing our best to make sure that 2.2 is as enjoyable as possible, and we hope you guys are looking forward to that as well. And we hope you enjoy it. So with that said, I guess that's going to do it for our last Pentastar alignment playthrough before 2.2 gets released. So again, the next thing you're going to be seeing is the Thrawn campaign as the New Republic, starting on Friday, and I might have to get pushed back to Saturday. It really should be on Friday though. I'm pretty certain that we can do that. And then a little bit into that, we will be starting Empire's End as the Imperial Remnant. And then during that period, it'll be within that you guys probably get the open beta and then the mod releases. It'll probably be right as the Thrawn campaign when it ends, actually, that the open beta starts. But anyways, once again, thank you so much for all the support, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye.